Well, it's another time out together on Issues and Trends with Obafemi Craig. Well, today we'll be taking a look. I always like using the word, a critical look at the subject matter of discourse today. And what is the subject matter of discourse we want to take a look at today? It is that which has to do with a new narrative that someone was asking me, does it exist? Has it been happening? And I said, yes, it does exist. Oh, but someone said it's underreported. Oh, and I said, yes, it is true. But what are we talking about? We're looking at that which is saying something different from the narrative we're all used to. And that is saying that domestic violence against men, is it a myth? Is it a reality? And can it be eradicated? But we know that which we know, that what we are all fond of saying is domestic violence against women. How does this play out? And how can we connect with this reality that someone is just coming up with a narrative that is saying a different thing entirely from what is supposedly supposed to be the universally well-known statement that it's usually violence, domestic violence, sexual violence against women? Can it really be on the other side of the truth? Well, that's some of the things we'll be looking at today on today's very special edition. Let me use the word special edition because it's new to me to hear that we can talk about domestic violence against men, knowing that's what we all know globally. It's domestic violence against women. Well, how do we get to understand all of this is what you get to know on this very special edition with my guest. Well, you get to meet my guest when I come back, but I want to say welcome, thanking you for joining us again today on Issues and Trends. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Well, like I did say, we're taking a critical look at the critical issue, domestic violence against men. A myth, a reality, and can it be eradicated? The question, does it even exist? Well, whether it does exist or no, or not, well, we'll get to know. Well, my guest today is no less a person but Elder OLUROPO ADEDINI. He's the coordinator of Hear Men Initiative, a non-governmental organization advocating for the eradication of domestic violence against men in the society of today. And to add more to what we are saying, he has written numerous articles to sensitize the society on the reality of domestic violence, particularly against the men, and the likely health hazards of such violence on the victims. The author is a graduate of business administration. He also has an advanced diploma in security operations and management from the University of Lagos. Aside that, he's a professional member of the Institute of Security in Nigeria and also a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Maritime Researchers. He's a researcher and equally a social advocate in his advocacy. I want to say a very big welcome to you, Elder OLUROPO ADEDINI.
I'm pleased to be here and thank you very much for having me on Lagos television.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And on Issues and Trends with Obafemi Craig.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
I am amazed, looking at you being an author of a book that has to do with domestic violence against men. Are you really the author of this book?
I am really 100% the author of that book.
This book that I'm saying here?
Exactly, I am the author.
What
100%.
came to your mind? What are you trying to say and what messaging are you messaging?
Okay.
To say that it does exist when we
does.
say there is domestic violence against men.
Well, to start with, I give all glory to God, Almighty God, that makes it possible for me to be here and to even make this advocacy a reality. It is a grace, and a grace in the sense that it's very real, like you said. So if not for grace and the supportive impression that I have, it wouldn't have been possible.
Grace
Grace.
and supportive impression that you have.
Yes.
How do you mean by that?
What I mean is that because it is very rare to be heard of,
And indeed it is rare to be
very
heard
rare,
of.
and it only takes the grace for somebody to come out and say it boldly, because it's like taking a risk.
It is like taking a risk.
Big risk for
How
that
do you
matter.
mean taking a risk?
Yeah, because for example, a good example I'll give you, before writing the book, I opened a group, a social group, which broadcast group on the social media, and I wanted men to be there, my friends. So the first people I approached, they said, don't put me there. Don't include me on that particular group. A friend just told me jokingly that, did I tell you my wife raped me? Why should you put me in we have domestic violence against men? No. Some will be very, very serious about it, that don't put my name there. So eventually I was trying to talk about it underground and then tell people, look, it's a service to humanity. Service to humanity.
A service to humanity.
Because girls, women, when they say, oh, somebody's being raped, they will fight to the end to make sure that everybody supports them for that. Does it mean they are actually being raped? No, they are fighting for somebody who has gone through that experience, sad experience. So similarly, we are doing the same thing. But in my own case, I'm a survivor of domestic violence against men.
You are a survivor of domestic violence against men.
Yes.
Was that what informed the need for you to come up with this thinking that it will be seen as a reality or a myth or an advocacy that you think people can buy into?
That is where it started. Because ordinarily you cannot give what you don't have.
Yes, you cannot give what you
don't give what you have.
So translating to mean that.
Yes, what I mean by that is that, for example, now another, I will say thank you, the big thank you to my wife, as I speak to the world now.
A big thank you to your
my wife. Yes, she's been very, very supportive.
In this advocacy,
yes,
in advocating the advocacy that
exactly
it does exist to say that there is domestic violence against men.
As we go into the program, you will see what I'm talking about.
Okay, what informed it? What
now, for example,
like I was just trying to
very good. My wife used to be abusive, okay, difficult, all right, and then
your wife used to be abusive.
Yes, used to be.
And very difficult.
Difficult.
When you say abusive, when you say difficult, what do you mean? What are you trying to project?
Very good. For example, my wife ordinarily, that is from her own attitude and trait, she doesn't really take a no for an answer when you don't meet a financial need of a financial.
She doesn't take a no for an answer if you cannot meet any financial obligation or needs in the house.
For her, yes.
Okay.
All right. So we need to talk about it. But initially, I thought that, okay, fine, we have to do something about that. And then I reported her to...
you reported her?
I reported her.
You reported your wife?
Yes, I reported her.
That's what?
That I'm going through hell in my house. But something will surprise you, that my own is not a physical abuse, okay, but emotionally you can be thrown under the grave.
No, your own is not physical abuse.
Not physical, but
emotionally.
Emotional.
So emotionally, one can psychologically be affected, or you can be impacted.
Yes.
And it could be hell.
Hell straight away.
So when you said hellfire, how come that was
like,
too big a word? Now you said
yes,
your house is a hellfire.
Very good. When a man dies, or anybody for that matter, is that person in position to tell you what killed him?
When a man dies.
When a man dies.
Is he in a position? No, definitely he's not in a position to tell what killed him.
Good. So many people have died of emotional trauma. Many men. I'm telling you from experience. If you don't speak out, you can be killed by it.
That's emotional.
Yes.
Emotional.
Emotional trauma.
I want to use your word well. Emotional trauma.
Trauma.
And if you don't speak out,
you may be killed by it.
It will kill one.
It kills. For example, because the first part of my book, or second part rather, the first part is talking about the myths. The second part is talking about the reality. So although
let's start with the myths. Some will tell you it's a myth. How can you say?
Fine.
Because culturally,
yes, sir.
In the African context of our contextual relation, interfacing,
okay,
it is believed that the man is the what now? Is the most powerful.
The head of the family.
Is the head of the family.
The breadwinner.
Has more influence. The man is everything in the house.
Yes. The first myth is that society believes that a man must always and is always capable of defending himself. How true is that?
That a man is always and must always or is always capable of defending himself against a woman, right?
Yes, now we are talking about a romantic relationship now. Okay? It's not true. Again, they say men don't cry.
Men do cry.
Men do cry, sir.
Men do cry.
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 We can cry in secrecy,
Yeah.
but men do cry.
No, sure, men do cry.
Men do cry.
Men
So
do cry.
that is a way of suppressing the emotion of the man. When you do that, you are killing him inside. You don't allow him to express his emotion, because you cannot cry. You just breathe in, breathe out. Go and check his BP. So men do cry, and it's a myth. And as a matter of fact, when a woman cannot wound a man. So if my wife beats me, I get to the office. Mr. Anyone, what happened to your face? It's the conductor. Conductor just hit me. Sorry. But if a woman comes to the office with a wound, she will boldly say, call me, my husband beats me. Oh, that man is a wicked man. He wanted to kill you. What's the problem with this man?
People will react.
Yes,
there'll
now.
be that reactive nature
yes,
to
now.
that.
But you don't want to speak your own out. Nobody would pity you or any reaction.
Because you are not speaking out.
You're not
And
speaking
you are going
out.
through that emotional trauma.
Yes, because men don't cry. Men cannot. Even when you report, you are a lesser man. You are not supposed to even report. So
So
that's
when you report, you are less. You are not even supposed to report.
That's why I'm saying I'm taking a risk. And I've started.
So how is your wife understanding this?
Well,
In what supportive role?
yeah,
has
that's
she?
what I'm saying. I'm saying kudos to her, because after my reporting to the human rights, okay,
You went to report your wife to the human rights.
Yes.
That she was abusing
Abusive,
you.
yes.
Abusive, not physical.
No.
But through emotional trauma.
abuse, and I told them I'm passing through hell. You understand?
You're really funny. When you say you're passing through it, just because she's giving
like,
you...
for example, I'm coming back, I have something to resolve, I'm here to resolve it, my heart will be up.
So,
Many men are passing through like that. They want to tell you. They will go to a beer parlor and be drinking. They come back.
We hear such reports.
They come back 12 midnight. The woman will have slept. When I don't drink beer, I don't do anything. So I have to come back that home now and go and face what I want to face.
And your wife has been magnanimous to support
Yes,
this.
so-
To say,
so-
so when you went to report her, what happened?
When I reported her, she didn't go. They invited her, she didn't go. So I continued reporting to the family members.
Oh, to family members?
Yes.
Not to human rights?
No,
Oh,
the
you went
human rights was the first place I went to. They invited her.
And she didn't go?
She didn't go. So I now, just seeing human rights, whatever, I moved forward to the family.
And I'm reporting that she was
Yes.
making...
So, and then everything got resolved. And then somehow, we are on the same page.
As we speak.
adopted many methods as we speak.
What methods did you adopt? You said you adopted many methods. Too.
Okay, maybe I would. Okay, for example, at the point in time, we agreed that anything in the home that yet to be met, maybe financial, whatever, let us list them. Because I earn salary, we know how to manage our money. But you see, another thing is that, for me, for example, she may not know. That's another. If you look at the third part now, that is eradication.
Yeah.
So that the book is very, very educative. It's for both men and women. There, the roles men should play to prevent themselves from being abused by the wife is there.
No, I don't want us to mix this up now. I want people watching us to really understand the nitty-gritty, the step-by-step approach of what we are discussing.
Okay.
We started now by understanding the fact that men can be abused, and men can also experience violence against them. And you also reference your wife as a very supportive woman who understood the need that she must play the understanding role when you went to report to her. But the question is, what were those challenges? Is it because you were not meeting? Let's start from you very well before we look at the meet now. No, it can't be a meet anymore because you are an example now, right? So we cannot say it does not exist. So men cannot be able to come up to now say their own, right? But you've been bold to speak about this. Now, minus that you were not meeting financial, what were the other things you were facing to say that your house was hell?
That's sufficient, because you see, the truth is that you can't meet all financial needs humanly possible, or rather, it's if not impossible, very, very difficult, to meet all financial needs. Particularly if the woman decide to be difficult, she decide to be abusive, without necessarily understanding your own part. That was where I was going when you said, okay, let us take it step by step. I was going to tell you that men also have roles to play to make that abuse of the family. For example, in my own case now, my wife may not know when I have money, when I don't have, and that was a big problem.
Okay.
So when I agree in a way to some extent, or to a reasonable extent, so when I have, possibly she will know. When I don't have, so the pressure.
Okay, you came to an understanding. So that it's when you have, she should know that you have. When you don't have, she should also understand that you don't have. So you can reach an understanding that when you now have, you will do the needful, right?
And then we can list. Okay, we can't meet all this. So let's us meet 1, 2, 3. Maybe next month we continue to mark the list. You understand? So that is
so rather than the nagging, rather than the abuse, you came to an understanding after you reported and you kept reporting.
Yes,
and she came to understand.
Yes.
But that has to do with just financial matters most of the time.
Yes.
Nothing more than financial matters. Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So if that is the case, well, women loves money, people will tell you.
Yes.
And as a man, one should be able to, I'm not saying go out of your way to steal or go out of your way to please them, but one should be capable enough to at least say that, well, I'm capable of doing this and this, and she should understand that. Didn't you, created such understanding in the first instance?
No, I didn't.
You did not.
No, I did not.
So can we say you are to be blamed for her being abusive at the time because you didn't do what you ought to have done?
To some extent, because you see, one thing about this issue is that anybody who wants to be abusive will always have excuses to maintain the abuse. So even if you satisfy that need, she wants to be abusive, she will continue. So why, if that is the case, what we are the biggest? Don't they have money? I don't have friends to meet all needs. So I'm just sharing my own personal experience, but it doesn't mean that
so
money.
In some other cases, it may not be meeting financial needs of the
so
woman.
If you meet all financial needs, it doesn't mean that the abuse cannot be there.
Okay, but we know that some men will report that they have been battered by their wife, that the wife do beat them.
It is true. It's possible. From my personal experience in my research.
That a woman do beat their husband at home.
Very well. Beat their husband very well.
What experiences do you have to say that?
Well,
what is your conviction?
My conviction is that while I was growing up, the way we were living then, I explained. Now I realize that yes, in truth, when I was growing up, we had a neighbor, opposite our own room, from the Cross River side. Anytime they have the woman would just lock the door and beat hell out of the man. And the woman was very fat. Okay, she would sit on the husband and start beating. Our uncle would try to beat the door. Come on. This and they will mention the name, open the door, and all of that. What we'll be hearing from outside is things falling off, maybe glasses breaking off, this and that. So that experience is there. And let me tell you, what now happened eventually. I still remember very well. The man one day, just that time, there was used to be this portfolio that men used to carry in those days, in the 70s, 60s, so that you have numbers, you press like this.
Yes.
So the man, I remember that very day, he just, he used to work in an insurance company. He just picked his portfolio and left, and that was it. He didn't come back to that house, to that home. Again, he walked away.
And that is a part of the domestic violence against men we are talking about.
Yes. So it means that there are so many homes like that too, that where a woman can be capable, strong enough to beat the husband. But where it can be reduced is that many men will run away before it happens, if they have the opportunity. Immediately you see that the one is bringing such approach.
Combative nature?
Yes, just find your way out. Maybe you come back the following day or whatever. So the woman would have...
But if you look at the aggregates of the perception of how society sees this subject matter that we are talking about to men would be like, no, that cannot be. It is not given any recognition at all. And how do someone like you chooses to think you can make a case out of this for people to believe that domestic violence against men is a reality and indeed not a myth?
Okay, like any other advocacy, is a typical service to humanity. So there's no way you can force anybody to agree with you. But definitely, with your belief in it and the support of God, it will settle some homes. But if you are looking at it generally, you won't be able to do something like this. But some people will gain from it. Because, for example, I'll give an example of where people say, don't add me. But some people are really in that situation, but they don't want to come out. So I cannot force them to support or to report whatever. So, but it's an advocacy. I'm just doing my best to let people know that this thing is a reality.
From the experience of what you have been doing, that it is a reality, what have you seen so far? Minus these two instances, you've given your own personal experience with your wife. I'm thanking God now that she's come to understand the fact that, well, you both reached a consensus to say that this is the way to go. Okay, to the one you said, a wife, you know, beating the man, that men can also be battered by their wife. That's another thing, you know, and they can walk away without reporting because nobody will want to believe or even recognizes that that can be true, that a woman is beating a woman. But we know that some women are so mighty that they can deal with a man, and God help the man if he survives it. But from your own experience, what other accounts have you seen to really give you this conviction? Because given these two instances, some will say, no, now.
Fine, sir. I'm still saying it. I don't have more of instances because my research is limited in the sense that I cannot be going to homes. Then another experience I can say I have, again, is while I'm serving as an executive of a CDA, Ikorodu, where I come from.
That's right.
Okay. I was the vice chairman for 9 years in my CDA. So from there, we can see people coming to us, you know, to settle cases, conflicts, in family conflicts. Some very private. They come and meet all the ESCOs. We settle it for them. So those are the areas.
Cases of where women abuses the man?
Sometimes.
Vice versa?
It could be. But most of the time, most of the cases is from the men to the women. But few of them are the other way around. But the fact that it's happening at all, that we are talking about, because all along
the fact that it is happening at all is your concern.
It's my concern. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the book is not saying that nobody is abusing women or women and men abusing men. No. The fact that nobody even believe it, that's what I'm talking about.
The fact that nobody even believe it is your concern.
It's my concern. It's not that, but of course, we have so many responsible men out there who will not do the needful, who will beat their wives, get drunk and whatever. I'm not denying that. No, far from it. But the fact that few, are you telling me, sir, that there is no women who are also who are drunkards too? Women. There may be few, but the fact that any woman can be a drunkard, then they come back home and then the whole house will turn upside down. Okay.
All this you have seen.
Yes. So these are the things. Essentially, it's an advocacy. So it's not forcing anybody to believe. The book is not forcing anybody to.
From the government perspective, government do not really recognize this. Someone will say, right or wrong.
Very, very
that
right.
There is domestic violence against men.
Yeah.
The law does not even capture that.
At all. I will give you an example.
Okay, let us hear the example you're trying to say.
In my book there, I have a chapter. Let me remember the topic, the chapter now. Okay. Essentially, it's talking about paternity fraud.
Paternity fraud.
Paternity fraud. But I frame it the other way around, but it's essentially on paternity fraud. You know, I painted a scenario there where a woman has 4 children for her husband, and somehow only one of the 4 is the legitimate child of the man. The remaining 3 belong to somebody else. I listen to me, sir. So in that situation, you know, a fraud is a crime. We call it paternity fraud. Now, you get that right. Now look at this side now. If as a man here, I'm here now, I commit adultery, okay, in a way, say, unyale, like Yoruba will say, okay, there's a law for it, to the best of my knowledge. There's a law, if I'm found guilty, 2 years plus a fine or both, okay. Also, for the woman now, talk about, infidelity, all right? okay, you are in your matrimonial home,
promiscuity.
okay, it is also a fine for it. You know, if found guilty, if convicted, okay, infidelity, go to jail 2 years or be fined, or both, fine. But to the best of my knowledge, there is no law that is talking about paternity fraud. What is the fate of the man having trained 3 children which are not his to the university level? Okay, nothing is given to him as a compensation. They say go and do DNA. After the DNA, oh, the 3 go to your father. As a matter of fact, the mother will come out in public that, excuse me, hey, you are not the right father of that lady that's about to get married. Women will say it out boldly, and before you know it, it will be confirmed by DNA. The man, okay, what is the compensation for the man now? Where does it start now? There's no law against it. So these are the things that hidden abuses against the men that people are not looking at. Just talk about rape, because nobody can rape me now. That means I'm not abused. Is raping the only abuse? So people are not talking about those things. That's why I'm talking about it as an advocacy. I don't find able to agree, but for government, it's better for government to agree, to help out, because the generality of society will benefit, because government is the father of everybody. So individuals are not looking at it. Government can look at it globally, holistically, and help people.
When we now take a look at the percentage in question here, well, maybe the percentage of it when compared to the percentage of how women are abused, or domestic violence against women, sexual abuse against women, when we look at the percentage, the way it is globally, to compare to the infinitesimal percentage of men concerned. Some said they, for that reason, we cannot advocate this advocacy that you are pursuing, because it has no meaningful of an acclaimed sense of universality to give it recognition to. I don't know if you agree with that.
I don't agree with you. Because if you want to go for a journey of 100 miles, you start with a step. Now it's getting worse day by day, year by year, month by month. It's getting worse and worse. And thank God for Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, headed by Barrister Dola Vivo. They are really trying in that organization. Because in the last 3-4 years, we've been having progressive increase in the number of men coming to report abuse against them.
With the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency?
Yes.
Under the leadership of Titilola Vivo?
Yes.
The executive secretary of that institute, of that agency of government. You can say that with conviction.
Because yes, I have a fight with them. I relate with the woman directly, and I follow them every time, what they are doing there, because it relates to my advocacy.
Your field of research.
Yes. So I'm sure 4 years back, I can't say beyond, in the last 4 years, it's been if you look at their report, they do biannual report, I think, or is it quarterly now? Biannual report in every 6 months. You have increase of men coming to report. In the past, it wasn't used to be so.
Against violence against them.
Yes. So whether infinitesimal,
by women.
Yeah, by women. Whether infinitesimal, whether minute, whether it's not, it doesn't matter. As long as it's existing, it can continue to increase if it's not checked. Or if you not take the bath.
The Bible is clear when it says, I think in Ephesians, man love thy wife, women be submissive to thy wife, to their husband. The submissiveness on the part of the woman, love on the part of the man. And if you look at this, for no reason should a woman who can be seen to be abusive or to have this combative nature, or so to speak, talk about violence against the man.
Okay.
They will say, no, it can be. And right. You are saying it is the truth.
Yes.
How do we differentiate that again?
That's very simple. The Bible you have made reference to is very good. This is the word of God. But is everything the Bible we are following? Because the Bible says, men, love your husband, and love your wives. Women also respect or be submitted to your husband. Do men love their wife? Do women are submissive to their husbands? That is the question. Is there in the Bible? Fine. Do we follow it? So if you don't follow it, if it's happening, it doesn't change the Bible now. So it's there in the Bible, fine. But is it not happening? It's happening now.
But for the sake of these men who are even saying no, don't put me on the platform. Who are even saying no? Because
Yes.
is it to say that they do not agree with your thinking?
No, sir. They agree, but they are afraid.
Why
Okay.
should they be afraid?
Why shouldn't they? We are talking about stigmatization, societal stigmatization. Okay, ordinarily
Stigmatization.
Yes, people are afraid to be stigmatized. Oh, come on, aren't you a man? Oh, no, I don't want to hear that. Your wife beats you. You must be funny. You can't be serious. You know, they just rubbish you. They belittle you. So you want to avoid those rubbish, whatever. You say, okay, it's
Comments from them.
Yes, now. That as simple as that. As simple as that. They say it's conductor that beats me. Oh, fine. Oh, sorry. Oh, everything seems to be. It's me that knows that it's my wife. So what's the anybody's problem? They say, don't put me on the platform. Fine. So if
So how many of such
I cannot follow them to their house now. So and I now gave them the scenario where women gather together to fight against rape. I asked them, all these women you see on the social media, are they all raped? Of course, no. But they are fighting for the interest of the women. So that's as simple as that. So
that men can now come together too and fight for the interest of men who are being abused.
Yes.
That is the point you are talking about here.
But sir, even the way you are asking me questions now, you are disabusing the men out there not to support me.
How am I disabusing the men? I'm just wondering.
No. You are wondering, fine.
No, I'm wondering because what we know globally is domestic violence against women. Sexual violence against women. But we do know, yes, and we sure do know,
yes,
that we have such cases against men, of course.
Yes.
Your question is, does it exist? We said yes.
So,
it does exist.
If it exists.
But when we look at the percentage of the numbers we are talking about here.
But I've told you about the percentage. It has something to do with advocacy. Percentage has something to do with advocacy. Look at Jesus Christ. You mentioned Bible now. He is an advocate. He was and he's still an advocate. Is anybody accepting him as an advocate? It's not his own business now.
Okay, you said you have cause to work with the, you are a partner or you collaborate, or so to speak, with the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. You work with them to see how things are. From what you have seen, how many cases have been reported by men?
No, not actually. Those cases, they are in the newspapers. I have them, but I don't have them.
Clips of newspapers report?
Yes, they are published. They are by that particular organization. They publish them. Number of cases this time. They even with percentages. Okay, those are the facts. In their database, you can have it there. They have the copies of those newspapers. So, and then talking about collaboration, I don't collaborate them directly. I was there. Just as I'm here now.
To ensure, to pursue a case.
What I'm doing, okay, and I they don't say, okay, fine.
That you are one advocate of this advocacy of violence against men.
They can support me in any way, whatever. That's just it. So, and of course, so.
Okay, we'll take a break here now. We'll be right back. Okay. We'll be right back after this time out. And when we come back, we'll take it from where we just stopped after this time.
All right.
Welcome back, and thanks again for staying with us. If you are just tuning in, well, it is Issues and Trends with me, Obafemi Craig, and today we've been taking a look at a new narrative of an initiative of an advocacy by Elder OLUROPO ADEDINI, looking at that which has to do with domestic violence against men. And we've been looking at the detailed analysis as to how come this can be accepted in the society of today. That's indeed, the question is, are men really being abused? The truth is there domestic violence against men? Is it well reported? Does it even exist? Well, he's been able to make his point at this point in clarifying this issue. That it does exist is one thing, and because it exists, there must be an advocacy so that we can bring it to the front burner, an awareness of the society to know that men also suffers abuses. But he made reference to a very critical point: emotional trauma. Well, we know some men go through this. Because of all of this, they rather go to the beer parlor, to hang out, get back home late at night so that they avoid that confrontation, combative charge or attitude with the wife. They go to sleep, but may continue the next day. But let's just hear him out again, express some of his views in this concern. Elder OLUROPO ADEDINI.
Yes, sir.
Well, after the break, we're still looking at this. For you, as we speak, can I say that you are one man advocate or one man show advocating this advocacy?
Well, so far, I would say yes and no.
How are men seeing this your advocacy? Are men taking, are they acting, are they proactive to it? Or how are they seeing it?
Well, they are proactive, but if their proactiveness is not, there's no way I can know it, because it has to do with their romantic relationship anyway. But what I have to notice is that a lot of people I've been speaking with, they agree with me. You understand? Even women, because I attended many, or they invited me for many occasions, like cooperative societies, to come and address the people. I'll go there. When I talk to them, at the end of the meeting, I ask them to ask questions. And women will be coming out to say a lot of things, about this advocacy, this domestic violence against men, why they are doing this against their husband. And then men will come out.
What were the excuses they given? Why are they doing? Why are they doing against their husband?
Okay, it's
what was the reason they were given?
Okay, for example,
what were the reasons being given?
Some like they will give the most general one is that their men are going out with other women, so they don't take care of them. When they have money, they carry girlfriend and all of that. That some of them even told me in the
extramarital affairs.
Extramarital affairs, that they punish their husband because of that intentionally. They point that if they have money, they won't give to the man to support. Maybe like school fees, for instance. Okay, the man says, madam, please, can I get 20,000 to support this school fees? They say, lie, I don't have anything to give you. Go and look for money and pay your school. You understand? They said
it's the right of a man to do that. A man should not.
Well, occasionally,
for whatever it is, my understanding is men should be able to live up to that responsibility.
You are right.
And not asking women to do.
Well, fine. But that's what but of course, if somebody tells me that, you understand, all I have to do is normally, or the way I do it, I don't blame people. I just cancel them, in a way. It's not that I'm apportioning blame, because if you start apportioning blame, I'm not the lawyer, and they now go back home and start quoting me. No. So just cancel them to make the home to be very peaceful.
So for you now, moving forward, this is something that has come to stay.
Yes, sir.
And it is what you want to pursue. How far have you been going about this advocacy of domestic violence against men? Okay,
so far I've been to 4-5 radio stations, and this is my first television house I'm visiting for this advocacy. So that's how far I've gone. And then in addition to that, like corporate societies, if they invite me, I can go there and I address the people, the members, about this and the reality and how to avoid it. So I don't just talk about it. That's another important matter about this book. I don't just talk about it. No, because I now look at proactive side of it. How can we prevent it from happening? That is the last part of it. Talking about
how can we prevent it from happening?
That's eradication.
So how can we prevent this? Because it is an aberration to speak about domestic violence against men when men are supposed to be the
head, the breadwinner.
Is it the head now, or the breadwinner,
Okay.
or when men are supposed to be the stronger vessel, so to speak, against women?
Well, they are supposed to be. They are supposed to be like, according to you, sir. But don't forget, they are human beings. First and foremost, a man is a human being. So the masculinity in him is secondary. So the fact that he's a man, something somehow along the line can make him less powerful than the woman. So that's a way to be objective about this issue. Otherwise, if you just generalize, every man must be powerful and all of that.
The man is expected to be protective of the woman.
Yes.
By our culture and our tradition.
Yes.
So where do you place the role of culture, tradition in this advocacy?
Good. The culture and tradition still play its role. The man, like you said, talking about respect be submissive, okay, to your husband, love your wife. If a woman is submissive, all right, the role, the traditional role you are talking about will be duly played. But if, for example, for any reason, the woman is not submissive, all right, she doesn't see the man and the man to protect her or to be in charge. You understand? So emotionally or psychologically, the man will be reduced to nothing in a way. So it's like something will lead to another thing. Just like Righty said now, this issue of submissiveness and respect, if it's not there, the man will not be able to play his own role, the other side, to be protect the family, to do all of the things that is expected of the man. Because already this, like when you talk about women emancipation now, that's another issue. Counter to the tradition, our traditions. There was nothing like women emancipation, but nowadays it is the in thing. You talk about gender equality. So where is the head that you are placing the man? When you talk about gender equality. So those are the little things that eroding the family. So when the erosion is there, the man will not be able to play his role properly because maybe the woman is claiming gender equality. So the role now is being nullified now. The role of the man as the head, like you are trying to put him as the man to provide, to protect. You say no, we are equal. Gender equality, in simple grammar, we are the same thing. So that's the problem now.
But by and large, since it's a case that has not been a case of that has been well reported, like I said, the government has not taken cognizance of this.
At all.
Neither is there a law that is saying something about domestic violence against men.
No, there's a law again. There's law.
No, as in giving it that.
Not again. Domestic violence.
The prime.
Generally, is a criminal offense. Domestic violence, whether against the man or the woman. It's not gender based.
I'm coming somewhere.
Yes, sir.
That even the place of the recognition for men is my concern.
Okay.
No, I agree with your position, or as posited by you,
Yes,
that whether men or women, the gender violence, it has nothing to do with gender bias. So
yes.
it's fine. But then, our society is a peculiar society, unlike the white man societal values and virtues.
Okay.
Ours, coupled with our religious beliefs and all of that,
All right, sir.
affects this proactive nature of the step you are taking to say that we must begin to rise at this time to speak against violence against men. What do you think about that?
Now, look at this way. We are rising up to talk about it. We are not rising up to fight or say, okay, maybe a kind of reactive something. That, okay, men, oh yeah, come out. If your woman abuse you, a woman abuses you, you abuse her back. If your woman is violent, be violent. No, far from it. We are talking about trying to eradicate it. As a matter of fact, let me quickly tell you this, sir. If we are to be very honest with ourselves, you find out that directly or indirectly, domestic violence against men or against the women, which is very, very common, right? So globally, is indirectly originated from the abuse against the men. Because most of the cases that are reported in the police stations, when you say you beat your wife, maybe, most likely, it's due to provocation. The man will be forced. Of course, there are few men who are outrightly abusive. Fine. But most of them, provocation. I'll beat you. Be careful. Yeah, kill me. If you can try it. You know, and the man will force the man until the man now hits her. So if the government can look at this issue critically, it's going to help even in reducing the abuse or violence against the women themselves. This is a fact I'm telling you. You see, so a lot of time when you abuse the man, you call him names, you demean him. Are you a man? Look at you. You call yourself man. Look at that. You cannot do all of this abuse is the reign on men.
But men are expected to be tolerant at that point.
Okay.
Men are expected to be enduring at that point.
Okay.
Men are expected to persevere that critical moment,
okay,
to be able to safeguard that acts of violence that can result into beating of the woman and all of that.
Okay.
Don't you think that is what is expected?
Yes, okay, you are very right. But you see, the way you are putting it, sir, it's like you are encouraging the women to abuse the men the more. Yes, excuse me, sir. Tolerance, fine. You know, as a man, fine. Now look at this situation. A woman abuses the man, call him names, okay, lock him perhaps. The man now say, okay, tolerance. So I want to be tolerant. I want to tolerate her. I don't want to retaliate. Sort of. He now takes his shot. He wants to just go out, maybe for hours and then come back. The woman locked the door. You are not going out. So where is the tolerance now? The man is tolerant. He doesn't want to reply or to retaliate. Okay.
But he can best just sit quietly in the house, not minding that the woman has locked the door.
Sit quietly. If you have an abusive woman, you can't sit quietly, sir. You cannot.
Do you mean one cannot manage the situation?
No, you can manage. I'm telling you, the fact that you can manage it does not. Can every man manage it?
Can every man manage it?
Yeah, not every man now. So that's why when you're talking about this thing, you have to look at it holistically, so that you can protect those who are few ones. You see,
are going through there.
That's what we are talking about. If you look at it from this point we are looking at now, then you can as well forget about what we are talking about now. So let it remain as long as they are minority. But
no,
is that fair enough?
This.
You have to live it like
we need to say this so that you can convince us the more to say that no, you are still asserting. I'm only trying to, pitch that with you for you to come out more out of yourself,
okay, sir,
to explain why this is an advocacy that must, for once, be attended to.
Good, sir. Now it is in the sense that, like the point I just raised now, the authority will be hearing now that okay, let us agree, yes, that globally women are more attacked by the men in the family setting. Right. I'm now saying that the attack or the violence on women can be reduced if attention, let me use that word, attention is given to the one against the men. Fine. Because the women, yes, we want to, by all means, want to make sure the women are at peace. They are not be beaten or whatever. So I'm not, let them give attention to the one against the men.
So that we can curb it.
You can curb it against the women.
As we speak.
As I speak.
I must let you go.
Yes, sir.
Elder OLUROPO ADEDINI, what will be your parting words with us?
Well, my parting words with that, once again, I thank God, I thank Lagos State government for what they are doing concerning families, you know, like lately now, our first lady in Lagos State, she has a kind of maybe an initiative, yes, for the boy the boy child.
The girl child, the boy
no,
child.
the boy child
yes,
now.
There's the boy child. Yes, I know.
Oh, I love that the boy child. You see, the boy will become a man eventually. So that particular initiative of the first lady, Mrs. Ibironke, Dr. Ibironke Sanwo-Olu, okay, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, thank you, sir. If that one, like, is coming from that level, that top level, you see that it will have impact even on the men, because the boy will eventually become a man. And don't forget, if they talk about the girl child, whom are they protecting the girl child from? From the boy child.
The boy child. Common sense space.
Do you get the logic now? So
I'm protecting the boy child again from the girl child.
Abi, it's not
a balancing you want to agree. A balancing.
It's not so. You have two genders now, boy, girl. You are marrying.
So you are appreciating Her Excellency, the
yes,
wife
I'm
of the Governor
appreciating
of
her
Lagos State,
seriously.
Dr. Mrs. Claudiana
Sanwo-Olu,
for that initiative of the boy child.
Oh, for the boy child.
And you are happy with that?
I'm very happy, because the boy child will become a man eventually, and he will not fall into this particular.
He won't be a victim.
He won't be a victim
of this domestic violence against women.
That is it, sir.
We must thank you very much, Elder OLUROPO ADEDINI.
Yes, sir.
Wish you the very best. Looking forward that some other time.
Thank you, sir.
We'll have you back on this program.
Thank you, sir.
All right, viewers at home, this much we can talk about, but I'm sure you are still surprised, right? As to what is this man talking about? Well, that's like I said, it is his advocacy, it's his research work, and he's one of the strong advocates of the fact that there is truly domestic violence against men, and that he is looking at a time where this must be looked into, curbed, so that the man may not suffer emotional trauma and eventually die of high blood pressure, or like he said, and any other thing that could come out of the shock of such a situation. Well, let's just believe that together we can make things better for the society, and let's just behave wisely and be of good conduct at all times, be tolerant of each other, persevere, and of course be calm at any situation, so that together we can overcome such challenges of the times. These truly are hard times in this country and in the world today. We'll see you again sometime next week.